Okay, it's about time to start. You got 2 minutes. So I'm gonna start. I'll wait. No need to go crazy. Don't know who's following the stream, but should really mute myself when I'm like coughing or something. Okay. It's 7 a.m. It's official. Here we go. So today, I think what we'll do is we will go through the whole setup process. So before that wouldn't work, and let me open my email first, just in case that doesn't work, and just in case we can't start the video within the site. So oh, cool. So this is actually interesting. So I got oh, I got an error. So let's see. Heads up, the link to the Web Launch Academy sign-in page in your email is incorrect. The current link won't connect to anything. Oh. Sign-in page. Okay, so that's not correct. Okay, well, thank you, Patrick. I will take care of that. Let me actually run through that. So, yeah, so you did get all logged in, so it does work. So let me go through that whole process again just to test. And so this is actually a good thing to note. When you're building your website, you're going to want to go through from start to finish on these tests and make sure everything works. And even if there's a little bug like you saw, Patrick, make sure to correct those. And that way it makes the whole thing smooth. So what I'm going to do is like just put in test user. I changed my site around a little bit. I actually want to make these white. Own forever should be white, or build once should be white. But anyway, we'll add in my other uh, my other junk email account. And this is not necessary that you click this, so I'll leave this blank just as another variable in the test just to make sure everything runs correctly. So that's the other thing. Any branches that you have in your test flow, you're going to want to run through and test every single one of those. And that's where debugging and testing really becomes a pain. It's not fun to do, but you got to do it. And that's what I'm going to kind of just show you. It's not enough to have like Lighthouse test your stuff either. You actually have to go through and manually test that everything works. So sign up. Okay. That's good. That went through, or at least it seemed to go through. I wonder, actually, I probably shouldn't be showing all that stuff. Let me see here. Oh, and that's not even the right email. So I have to sign into this other email account. And okay, so I got the email. So that's good. And that's just information. You don't it's good that I got the email, but it's basically just to make sure it actually sends. Okay, so then we go to pricing. This would be after our one-on-one session. Go pay. First for free. Apply. And I probably should swing this over so that my personal information isn't shown on screen. It's always like okay. So that seemed to go through. And then, so what you're saying is, so is the email wrong? Oh, it actually just says set create new password immediately. Okay, so is this wrong? Oh, yeah, this should be sign in. So yeah, something's not right here. Because that should be, yeah, that should be a sign in page. Well, anyway, I got that email, but you can also just go in here. So let me actually get out of this. So you click sign in. Oh, not sign in. You do click sign in, but then you go to create new password. Okay. You do that, send reset instructions. That should be in your email. And then okay, so this is the password reset email. The other one that you get, yeah, that's not quite right, so I have to fix that. So then you go reset my password, click this, and then just anything. And actually, let's make it not Let's make them not match. Okay, yeah. So if they don't match, you correctly get this little notification here. What I should add is actually like a little eyeball thing so that you can see your passwords. That's always kind of helpful for the user. And then so then you type in your actual password. Oh, I don't have that saved correctly. Now you can sign in. And now we can go into collaboration, group coaching. Okay, so I can't. So the problem is this can't actually get access to my microphone and camera because they are already in use. So that's the problem here. OBS camera. So I wonder if I can start virtual camera. Oh, I actually can, I think. Is this right? I think I have to change the settings or something though. Okay, so oh no. Oopsies. So yeah, that went wild. So now it's like an endless. uh, okay, that was funny. Let's make it do something different. So um, I can't remember actually. Okay, so I need to figure out what's going on here. I need to figure this out later, probably. Uh, let me see here. I'm trying to think what do I use for this? That's not really working. I don't know which microphone it's using. That's okay. So I think it maybe is working. What if I join meeting? Is this working? I can also do no. Let me do no, that's not gonna work. Yeah, because I have all these. Okay, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get out of here. I'll figure that out later. I think, yeah, because I have this going, it's not really working too well. So, debugging and testing, everyone. That's that's what you have to go through. Anyway, let's continue. So, I'll uh I'll go through here and um, I'll sign in to my admin account. Patrick, I couldn't figure out. Oh, okay, yeah. Actually, no, I did figure it out. That's right. The email thing was off. Sorry about that. Gotta get some water here. Okay. So going through the textbook. Yeah, so oh, this should have been done. Okay, so yeah, you actually have to click on that. So in order to access the other stuff, you just have to click these and be like, yeah, I'm done. I did these. And then they'll let you enter. So that wasn't something that I added. That's something that AI, that Claude added just as a default. So there will be things like that where Claude will just add things and you'll be like, what? But it's mostly good. It's just you gotta correct a few things here and there. So what we had initially, we had WSL2. If anybody had trouble installing any of these, so we installed VS Code, which is this guy right here. And this means that I used up all my Claude Code tokens. So I can't code in here until November 6th, 12 p.m. You can subscribe to like a max plan, but the cool thing is, so this is something that I just got. This is an email that I just got, and I'll share it with you because it's actually, oh, sorry, because it's actually pretty nice. And let's see. So there's this cool like $250 credits for Claude Code on the web, and so you can actually start coding within like a cloud environment that they have. So you can actually, all you have to do is you have to set up a repository in GitHub, which is one of the things we'll do, and it will give you like, you know, $250 in credit to where you can start coding with that. And so it's very simple. It's simpler than what we have. It doesn't quite work as well. It's like it's messing up. So I think it is a beta test, or maybe I'm just like feeding it too much information at once. But actually, I'll demonstrate kind of what it is right here. So what you can do, so this is my GitHub repository. And what that means is that this stores a bunch of like the code. So this guy, this Power of the Prompt repository stores a bunch of files of code. And what you can do is you can actually ask Claude Code to modify this directly in here, just like in this. So remember when I demonstrated, you can do natural language prompts in here and it'll like change your code. You can do the same thing in here and it will change the code in your repository. So if you want to look for that, I can maybe even send that to everyone, and that way you all will have those $250 in credit. Now the thing is, you have to have an account. You have to have a subscription account. So you have to either subscribe to Claude, what is it, the first tier? I can't remember what the first tier. I think it's Claude Pro or something like that. Claude Pro, and then Claude Max is the higher tier. So, but you can do that, and hopefully you can code a little bit, or you can create a website a little bit sooner than what you would have to do, than what you'd have to wait for. So anyway, that's that. So we got through with WSL. If you have any problems with that, just email me. You don't have to like pay me money just to get started on that. I'll help you out. Not looking to take advantage of anybody. Especially, I mean, Patrick, you're helping me debug, so I feel like I owe you one. So if you have any problems, just let me know, and you know, we can. Hopefully, it won't take too long. Yeah, like I can just maybe walk you through some simple steps to install this stuff. So install Ubuntu Linux. Click Launch or Find Ubuntu in the Start menu. And I feel like there is another thing. Yeah, like so enable virtual machine. Yeah, I can't remember exactly how I enabled the virtual machine platform. I thought that was like in a settings somewhere, but I don't know where it was. Virtual machine platform. I think there is like, I think there is a way to do that. Okay, yeah, this is another way to do it. So you can search for this. If like the other way was a little bit confusing, you can put it in here and enable virtual machine platform. I think these are the steps that I used, if I'm remembering correctly. But it also says like, okay, so virtualization must be enabled in your system BIOS. So yeah, just follow these. I think these are the correct instructions. So I should actually take note of these. Enable virtual machine platform. Yeah. And I'll save this somewhere. Somewhere. Save it somewhere. I don't know where to save it. I don't know where to save it where I'll remember. Oh, that's ugly. Let's see if there's a different way to save this thing. That's an ugly, ugly format. Is there another way to paste? I don't know if you can hear like my my son like singing in the background. I don't know, but yeah, it's whatever. I'll just save this as whatever. Virtual machine setup instructions. Okay, there we go. Get out of here. All right, so that's good. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure people knew there was like another way to do that because I can't remember how I enabled the virtual machine, so that's kind of important. Um, and so the initial Ubuntu setup, WSL, PowerShell as administrator, yeah, that's the big thing. Okay, so yeah, these extensions that you want to include prettier, and you install them in there. ESLint. You install them in this little guy. So these blocks, and there's ESLint. So install in Ubuntu. Yeah, so I think I need to actually make sure these are correct. But I mean, they seem to be working, especially prettier. Like you can literally see the different text colors. So that's what you need. Why so few extensions? Claude Code, Claude CLI writes most of your code. You don't need developer productivity. Node.js, install Homebrew first if not installed. This is only Mac. That's only if you have Mac. Okay, so all of that should be done. And then the other thing, okay, so this is the other, this is the git config. So this is where we're at here. So this is all your git configurations, global configurations, init. So your business email, your business name, and this default branch is going to be the name that you want your branch to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into GitHub, and let me pull this up here. I gotta make sure like I don't have any sensitive information here. So what you do is you want to set this stuff up. Hold on, let me go out a little, go out for a bit. I'll be right back. Okay. Where were we? Uh, yeah, so just follow these steps. And then for, yeah, that's where we were. For GitHub. So this is my dashboard. You got to create an account, obviously. And actually, I think what I'll do is demonstrate just kind of a totally new sign up process. Hope I can get back in. I should be able to, but I'll just sign up as a new user. Just kind of get going with a totally new process. So I don't know. The only thing is it might like automatically connect me back to my original Gmail account. Um, Actually, let's try Web Launch Academy. And just create an account. Verification. Okay. Somehow it was able to. No, I'm not going to save it. And then we just go to my email here. Did I receive it? Okay, I'm actually not getting the email, which is really weird. I've gotten it before. Okay, well, that's not working. So, um, anyway, I'll just sign in my original account because it's like, why not? The main thing is like just create your account, and then what you want to do is you want to create a new repository. And put in your repository name. So let's see here. Give me a second. Alrighty. I just had to tell my son to just knock it off a little bit. he's like he's being super loud. Alright, so you can put in your repository name, so it's like you can name anything. Um, this is obviously one of mine, but web launch academy. Okay. And then actually what you can do, so I've told you this before, but you can ask if you're unsure about this stuff, which it is kind of confusing because you have to, it's like, wait, what should my availability be? Should I make it public? And you should make it public because you can make so public code doesn't mean it's like it's a security issue. What public means is like your code, yeah, that can be accessed, but that doesn't really matter. Like code can be accessed all the time. There's open source code. So there's no problem with that. What you have to be careful about is sharing your environment variables file. And I'll teach you that later, but you can create what is called a git ignore. So you don't have to create a git ignore right in here. You can just say none, and you can just ask AI to create a git ignore, and that will make sure that the proper things, the proper files are not shared in GitHub. Okay? And so the question of that is, well then, why do I need to make those? Like, why would I even have that code? And what you have to do with that code, so like, I'll actually have to talk about this when we get into environment variables because it's going to be a little bit too confusing right now. But just know that you can have your local code, and then you can share your code publicly here, and then you can store your environment variables directly in your host. So that's not going to be in here, and it'll be locally on your machine so that you'll have backup to those, as well as directly in the host, directly plugged into the host. So all the rest of your code is going to be on your machine in this repository, and then that repository is going to be able to transfer that most of that code over into the host. And then your environment variables will be plugged in directly into the host, and they will also be stored on your local machine for testing purposes and for backup purposes, obviously. So the description, you should have a description, and Claude can help you out writing the description for this stuff. I can't remember why it's important to have a description, but it is important. You should have something that is like, oh, so this is a good example. So this is actually a description that I had for my brother Mike's site. And yeah, so it's just kind of like it keeps track of like what your plan is. So it's not actually, I think these are bad descriptions. So you don't want stuff like this. You want actually like a description of it. So upgraded version of original Winchester Therapy Services site uses Next.js stack to be deployed on Vercel. So that's important. Visibility, again, public. Start with a template. No templates needed. Add a README. You don't need this either. And you don't need a git ignore. You will have READMEs in your code though. You will want to make sure that Claude creates these READMEs within your code. They're important just for like documentation purposes and for references for all kinds of reasons, and I'll get into those later. Your license is an MIT license. So this does not mean you went to like some some university and got some degree. It just means like what you can do with the code, like how accessible your this repository is. And so MIT license is the one that we want. I don't really know what all of these other licenses are. So, you know, you don't have to worry about them. But then you just create repository. It should go through. And okay, you don't have any readmes. Okay, so here's yeah, so here's what this is. MIT license. So it just explains. It's just like a copyright notice. So that's that. And as far as what you want to do from here, let me try to remember. So if you use GitHub as your host, you can actually use GitHub as your host. And so, oh wait, no, this might not be environment variables. New environment? No, this isn't it. This is not an environment variable. This is just an environment, I think. Configure. Name can't be blank. Yeah, this isn't it. You don't have to do anything with this. Webhooks, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to worry about any of this. So, deploy keys, secrets, and variables. So your repository lives in here. So this is where you want to kind of make sure that you have all your stuff. If something isn't working after you are coding, make sure that your code is being updated, and you'll see like the files in here. This is your branch, or your like your main branch, and then you can have other branches over here where that means like, so here's my branch structure. So you'll notice it's just like a line straight up. So I don't have any branches that are going in wild ways because I'm just constantly updating, and I really don't feel like I messed up anywhere along the way. But if you feel like, you know what, actually way down here is what I feel like worked better. So these are versioning nodes. So what this means, this is the latest update. Okay. This is the update that I had prior, and so on. So you can think of this as like, you know, version 1 would be like all the way down. This way up here would be like version, 95, 96, 97, and so on. And so it's like, well, I actually think version like 90 was better. I've been making these updates, and I thought I really wanted to go in this direction, but actually, this is actually where I think it would be better. And so you can right click and create a branch, and all this other stuff will be separate from that branch. Like everything going up will be separate, and you'll be starting, your code will kind of reset as if it's from here. And that branch, that's all those versions will be accessible in your repository here. And so when it talks about branches, that's what it means. It's like, I actually just reset. Actually, like I don't wanna code in main anymore. And then what happens is like the branch going all the way up. It's like, what do you do with all this? Maybe you want to keep this code, right? So what you can actually do is you can either just delete this code, or if you're like, actually, I changed my mind, I do like this code, you can actually merge the two together again. Okay, and there are sometimes there's reasons to do that, especially if you're collaborating. So branches are really good for collaboration because one person can create a branch that goes up over here, and then like the owner, let's say like the main administrator of the code can be coding within the main branch. And then what this guy will be doing, he'll be doing working on something else. And then you can do what are called pull requests and push requests. So pull requests are pull and push requests are basically where like, or hold on, I might be getting these terms wrong. Let's actually go into. I don't want to screw these terms up because I'm not that familiar with the GitHub terms because you don't actually have to be. But I kind of want to talk about these versions and these branches a little bit because it's kind of important just to conceptualize these concepts a little bit. And so let me just look up like GitHub or Git. Actually, it's Git. So Git is not the same as GitHub. And actually, like Git commands, what is it? Git commands catalog or something like that. So Git cheat sheet. And you can go through here. Git scm.com. Start a new repo. So that means like you create a repo, a repository. So they say repos. It's and repository means like a storage area. Okay, so just to like clear all that, all those definitions up, all that jargon. Repo is short for repository. Repository means a storage unit, right? So it's just a place to store your code. So git init means you create a new repository. And you can just say, oh, excuse me. My kids want video games this early in the morning. It's insane. Okay. I'm like, no, no, that's not a good idea. Anyway, so getting started, yeah. So you can also clone an existing repo. So if you're like, you know what, I actually like what this code or this person was doing. Let me clone their code and add on to it or modify it. So that's another thing that you can do. And that's like the thing is like the coding community, like I couldn't understand this. I was why like why is everything shared? It's like the coding community is they're very like share everything. And so they share all of their code and it's all for like advancement. And it kind of makes sense because the chances that somebody is going to be like doing like it, the chances that somebody is going to have some piece of code of yours that is like has never been done or has never been like it's just some crazy piece of code that's like nobody has access to, especially in the now with AI. It's like it doesn't really matter. Like AI scoops up everyone's code anyways. So it's not really like, so everybody shares their stuff, and so you can git clone, you can clone somebody's code and you know, add on to it as you see fit. And it's kind of understood that, like, yeah, you should share your code so that we can, you know, we can build as much as we can. So like this stuff, add an untracked file or unstaged changes. So that just means like um, it's like I'm preparing to save this change that I did. Okay. And so you can also add all of the untracked files with this dot. You don't really have to go into the minutia of this stuff though. You can kind of just say like, so these are all commands that you'll see come up in VS Code or within Claude. And so actually here we go. Here's one of them, git status, right? And it's saying on branch main, your branch is up to date. And then here's another one, git diff. So I can't remember what diff means. I think it just means like, I think it just means like the edits of it, and so it's like able to figure out what's been changed or something like that. I can't remember, but basically like all you have to do is say, okay, commit my changes and push. So commit and push are like the only commands that I really know how to do. You can also, you can just say things that are like natural to you. So if you're like, hey, I want to copy a file from this repository, like you have to actually say the repository, but it will give you all of these, it will give you these commands. So you don't have to remember these at all. You just kind of have to know kind of what they do. It's kind of nice to know, like, you know, how these things work, what kinds of commands that I can use, especially with the versioning. It's kind of hard to conceptualize that stuff, but so you can read through this if you're confused at all. You can also just kind of say like, you can copy and paste any of these in Claude and say, hey, explain this to me, or just copy and paste them in any kind of AI thing. So hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. So many interruptions. Okay. I'm gonna check the emails just for a second, just to see if anybody has any questions. I know that's like a lot. Like it's very confusing, or at least it can be, and so, but it's really like it doesn't have to be. You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to memorize all that stuff. You can pretty much just talk in a natural language sense, and AI will kind of, you know, get you through it. Um, Make sure you follow this. So this is generating an SSH key within GitHub. And so this is important to generate this, because this will allow you to access your I think it allows you to access your repository or something. It allows you to basically, like, whenever you save, you don't So there is another way to do this. So if you don't do this, if you don't have your key fingerprint, every time you save, I think what'll happen is like it'll have to ask for your credentials in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, what you want to do is within one of your terminals, you want to generate that new SSH key, press enter, and then you want to enter the file in which to save the key. So then you press enter, enter passphrase. You can leave it blank if you want. Enter the same passphrase again. You'll see the output. And then display and copy your actual public key. So the SHA 256 is not what you copy to GitHub. So display and copy your actual public key. So what you want to do is you want to run this command cat. This will show your actual public key. It looks like this. Okay, so this is the thing that you copy. And then your email. Okay. Then what you do, this is important. So then what you do is you go into GitHub, sign in, click your profile picture. Top right, so what you do, what that means is this. You click your profile, top picture, or top right picture. You go here, okay? And then I think it said go into settings. So you can either go there or you can go here. Okay, click either of those settings. Then, let's see here. Click the green new SSH key button, which is, where is that? Where is that? I'm actually not seeing it. Is it, hold on. Oh, left sidebar, click SSH and GPG keys. SSH and GPG. Okay, I'm still not seeing it. Unless, maybe it's in the other one. Okay, so actually this, okay, so that's something to note. So this settings is actually the one that you want to click. It's not the one that I said you could click. So those settings are different. And so here's where the SSH and GPG keys are. I don't know if I was supposed to show that on screen. Let's see. I don't know. They're probably fine. What I just showed. I don't know if there's anything on the screen that's bad. But yeah, basically maybe I'll reset those. But you click the green SSH key, new SSH key, and then you can, whatever, title, keep key type as authentication key, paste your entire public key, then you click add SSH key, and that'll get you started. So we got about 2 minutes left. I didn't see any questions. just make sure you follow this, and that should be good. So, all right. Yeah, we're about done. So, I'll just end early. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I know that was like, it was kind of a roundabout lesson. But I hope all of that makes sense. I hope kind of like the versioning control and stuff makes sense. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'll close us out in prayer. Lord, Heavenly Father, thank you for this time, and thank you that we could all meet together and learn and help us to just get through this course and help me to teach everyone how to build a website and help them to, just really get something out of this. All right. Thank you. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks. Bye.